Well, believing you're having a great month as far as the month of March is concerned, and it's a pleasure to know that you're still part of the biggest network, the big family, the national broadcaster. Coming to you live from Nile Avenue, my name is Sandra Kahunde, welcoming you for today's special edition of the weekly news roundup, and starting off with activities that you could have missed out. Once again, you're welcome. President Museveni has reiterated his call to Ugandans to create wealth through commercial agriculture with Echibaru, that is calculation. Well, the president made the appeal during his presidential address on wealth creation held at State House, Nakasero.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni said that the National Resistance Movement government emphasizes politics of economics and wealth creation, and they've always urged people to be wealth creators and reject the politics of parasites and sectarianism.
That politics is politics of solving people's problems, especially poverty, not just attending barriers and doing things which are really just okugumaza bananchi, to preoccupy them with petty things which don't have serious meaning for their lives. Then the politics of going outside to talk to foreigners, to what, those are just agents of foreign interests.
President Museveni explained that Uganda can be very successful if it develops its indigenous wealth and modernizes it.
But then you find that even the Ugandans are not enough, the market of Uganda is not enough. We need the regional market. So that's why our politics, inevitably, because we were on wealth creation, we had to automatically be patriots in Uganda, love the whole of Uganda, and Pan-Africanists, love the whole of Africa. And then we told our people, that's how we evolved the 4 principles of the NRM: patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy.
On the other hand, the president, who is an extensive farmer himself, tipped Ugandans on how best they can carry out cattle farming for profits, like the case at his Kisozi farm. Museveni further disclosed that his wealth creation gospel has been able to positively impact on his neighbors in Gomba, where his Kisozi farm is situated. According to the Poverty Alleviation Project Coordinator, Sala Narwanga, President Museveni's Entandikwa scheme has done tremendous work in changing the lives of people in the 9 villages.
Kirasi, ng'ekyalo Kirasi, eyina amaka 384. Twaweerezaayo ente 63. Netukuŋŋaanyaayo empaano okuva etwaziwa mu 2012, kale netufuna ente 76 ze twakuŋŋaanyanga empaano y'excellence. Mu Kirasi abaafunayo embuzi gali amaka 50, abaafuna embizzi amaka 8. Essaawa zino y'excellence abatannaba kufuna ku kyakulunda yadde gali amaka 198 mu Kirasi. Lwaki muzeeyo amaka go geeyongera? Nti we twatandika okukola twasanga omuvubuka atannaba kufuna amaka kati yagafuna. Yakula ne yeetongola, amaka go kyovola gagenda geeyongera. Then Kajumiro waliyo amaka 332. Twewalezaayo ente ez'amata 64, twajjayo empaano 68, amaka agafunayo Kajumiro embuzi 50, embizzi twaweereza amaka 8. Abatannafuna ku kyakulunda bali amaka 144. Kisozi galina amaka 263. Kisozi twaweerezaayo ente 63, twakuŋŋaanyaayo empaano 30. Abafuna embuzi bali 37, ab'embizzi gali amaka 6. Abatannafuna ku kyakulunda bali amaka 27. Kisozi gali amaka 28, twagabayo ente 55, twakuŋŋaanyayo empaano 18, twaweereza embuzi amaka 27, embizzi bafunayo amaka 4, abatannafuna ku kyakulunda gali amaka 24, 24.
The president also noted that homesteads' income have since improved through commercial agriculture and is now looking forward to introducing irrigation schemes in the villages so that the locals improve on their productivity. The president also urged leaders to ensure that they are solving problems of Ugandans through mobilization and sensitization.
Prime Minister Robin Anabanja has underscored government's agenda on increased access to education and high participation of women in decision-making positions. While officiating at the third Women's Market and 90-day Women campaign, Premier Anabanja encouraged women in leadership to support and motivate young women to take advantage of the leadership spaces.
Reports indicate an increase in the number of women in leadership positions and in higher decision-making positions. Women representation at all levels accounts for 45%. In the legislature, women representation is 34%. During the Women's Banquet and 90-day campaign, women in leadership encouraged young women to position themselves and also be change makers, irrespective of their status.
What we must realize is that until we have equal opportunities, we can never develop. That one is a fact. We can even take it at family level. If we have a family that only advances one gender and ignores the other, it can never develop at its full potential. The gender that is marginalized will always be a burden to the gender that's prioritized.
The Director Path Uganda, Dr. Mirembe, applauded government for providing space for education for all. She also commended government for the strides in reducing maternal mortality and reducing the HIV prevalence among young women.
To the leadership of this country, especially His Excellency the President, for all that has been done in this space. But we also acknowledge all leaders at different stages for all things that you have done and kept us going.
The Vice Chairperson, Private Sector Foundation Uganda, Sandra Kahunde, noted that although women form the biggest percentage in the private sector, there are still limitations towards their performance, like heavy taxes and high collateral for loan acquisition.
The cost of capital in Uganda is still high. And while women are very entrepreneurial, access to finance, Right Honorable Prime Minister, is a challenge for women because we do not own collateral. The land titles, the homes are not owned by us. But even if we do, the interests are very high.
Prime Minister Robin Anabanja, who was the chief guest at the event, noted that the proportion of women who are in decision-making positions and also property owners has significantly increased compared to the past. She attributed the results to the government's agenda of women empowerment.
This year's 90-day Women campaign, whose theme is women economic empowerment, financing, leadership, and health. This theme was brought to cabinet and we passed it because you really see that it is very important and it is truly relevant to the programs the NRM government under the wise leadership of His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has pursued over the years to facilitate women empowerment and gender equality.
Anabanja challenged women in decision-making positions to be champions in supporting young women to embrace leadership opportunities, irrespective of their status. Nonetheless, Prime Minister Robin Anabanja was dismayed by school dropout rates of girls, which caused setbacks towards women empowerment.
Despite all these achievements, we still have high dropout rates and low completion rates in schools. And to me, this has negatively impacted on our achievement as women. And so I request that fellow women who are here, let us fight to make sure that even the poor can go and attain education in government schools.
This year's Women's Banquet brought together women from all levels of leadership and was celebrated under the theme Invest in Women and Accelerate Progress. Susan Nawanga, Andrew Sebira compiled this report.
In other activities, the media has since remained a playground for the political turmoil which has hit the National Unity Platform Party, resulting from allegations of dirty money. It is day 3 since the new party president, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, issued a letter through the media that MP Mathias Mpuuga resigns from his position as a parliamentary commissioner after Parliament recognized Mpuuga with 500 million award for his service as the then leader of opposition. Mpuuga, on Saturday morning, while on a local radio station, revealed the Auditor General has the jurisdictions to question the funds out of Parliament. At the same time, Robert Kyagulanyi, through social media platforms, presented 10 reasons why the allegations pin MP Mathias Mpuuga, including how the Mityana Municipality MP Francis Zake was excluded from the opportunity.
A year after the Forum for Democratic Change political party experienced turmoil in relation to allegations of dirty money, the National Unity Platform Party has joined the board. In such scenarios, the media has remained a field where the aggrieved parties address the respective allegations.
We advised him to honorably do 3 things. First, return that money.
On Saturday morning, the Nyendo Mukungwe Masaka City MP Mathias Mpuuga arrived at one of the local radio stations in Kampala to respond to the allegations of corruption and abuse of office as slapped on him by the new party.
Nti tuyina akaseera akamala okukakkanya ensonga zino ne tugenda mu maaso. Nze sifiirawo okubeera commissioner. Twali azaalibwa nga commissioner.
While on the radio talk show, Mpuuga started with explaining the powers of the Parliamentary Commission, which resolutions awarded him 500 million honoraria for his services during the reign as the leader of opposition.
Sente nzirinze era quote eno mbadde nize first installment. Oyagala kumperekera kunkuweeko nawe oli Sebo ninze installment yange esooka kubanga nagwanira okuweebwa akasiima ako. Maybe ekiweebwa omuntu akasiimo nga ali ku level nga gye mbaddeko. Ekisooka bw'obeera lob. Kiki ekirala ky'osobola okukola? Onyuka n'ogenda mu kaduuka ako n'otunda.
During the 2-hour radio show, Mathias Mpuuga limited his concerns to what he described as insufficient guidance to the new party president on matters of parliament.
Ate nga bamwetolodde abamu baasoma ku mateeka oba baagasoma kuyita buyisi bibuuzo, ekyo kye simanyi. Buli bw'otunuulira banno n'obatya era okola ensobi, oyinza okulowooza nti Mpuuga ono ndowooza mmedi wadde obiwulire obisoma wano. Mpuuga ono buli bw'atunula atunulanga yetunuzanga president ayagala bwa president. Omulaba bambala essuuti n'akuba n'engatto n'afaanana nga president. Era abatambuza ebyo ne bankubirayo n'ebipande ebitambula Mpuuga for president. Ndowooza obiraba. Ekisooka,
Robert Kyagulanyi alias Bobby Wine shared on social media what he called 10 reasons why the allegations pin MP Mathias Mpuuga. Bobby Wine, among others, asserted that the idea to award the commissioners started months after MP Francis Zake in 2022 was relieved from the position of a backbench commissioner. But Mpuuga, while on the radio talk show, responded that the court process locked MP Zake from receiving a share.
Ensonga z'abanabu Zake bwe zaatuuka zaasalawo nti ensonga bwe zinaava mu kkooti ng'esazeewo eggoye kuwaaba kwewaaba Parliament n'ejulira kubanga omusango gulimu appeal gye ginaggweera commission tebana kyakkola erina okumuliyirira nga commission omujjuvu. so n'olwekyo y'ensonga etegereka y'amangu nnyo okutegeera mu mateeka ne mu mbeera za bulijjo.
MP Mpuuga, who is not worried of the outcomes of the allegations, reveals that only the Auditor General has the jurisdiction to question the finances of Parliament. Mpuuga says the directive that he resigns from the Parliamentary Commission is not backed by any law. After the radio show, I wanted to have more clarifications from Mathias Mpuuga about the matter, but in vain.
Yeah, Antonio, just a quick one for today, as far as whatever you've said on the radio station.
But you have listened in, haven't you?
That was Uganda session.
Friends, I'll address a press conference on Monday, so be patient with me. I'll speak to you. Thank you.
During my last interview with Tororo North County MP Geoffrey Ekanya, he asserted that such political confusions can be formally addressed without endangering the status of the political party.
People, you have a right to question, but you question using a system. If you have a disagreement with your dad, your mother, you sit down in a meeting. If your dad and your mother does not satisfy you, you call your uncles in a clan meeting. You don't go to other clans. By going to the media, we have now gone to other clans. Other clans will never solve our problem. They instead laugh at us. Say, look at these young boys who have failed to understand how to run their homes.
On Friday, the Director of Communications and Public Affairs at Parliament, Chris Obore, defended MP Mpuuga on what has been described as a bribe.
And I'm telling you here, where is the misconduct? First of all, it is not Honorable Mpuuga's payment. It was for parliamentary commissioners. 2, it was discussed in a meeting. Are bribes discussed through minutes? Tell me, is there any bribe where minutes are taken? The commission was exercising its what? Mandate. So I first remove the issue of the bribe. 2, forget the issue of it being Honorable Mpuuga's payment.
Daniel Mugoya, Juman Samba, UBC News.
In other news, over 1,000 women from the Anglican, Catholic and Orthodox churches have engaged in the Women Ecumenical Prayer Day as the country awaits International Women's Day celebrations. The chief guest, Margaret Rabashaija, advised women to be heard working and come up with developing projects to improve on their livelihoods.
The prayers held at St. Stephen's Church of Uganda in Kampala Diocese were attended by women from the 3 denominations of Anglican, Catholic and Orthodox. The women prayed for leaders at all levels, family, and for peace in the country and Gaza.
I pray that may our leaders in this government never be scared, my master, in whatever noise or voice, oh God, that comes from anywhere, my master.
Mukama Katonda waffe tubeere n'ekisa ekyawamu okubeera nga bamaama abajjudde tuleme kubanga tukaayana mu ddakiika emu nga tudduka mbiro okuva awaka abajjuza amagezi agava mu ggulu balowooze era bajjukire bye bateekwa okukola.
The guest preacher, Reverend Rebecca Nyegenye, called upon women to love and bear with each other in whatever challenging situations they go through.
We need to understand that the people are struggling. You cannot carry their burden, you don't go to them. If there is no love, then there is no way you're going to carry my burden.
In attendance was the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, Dr. Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu.
Abakyala muri bantu bakulu kubanga ne mu Bible yaga aboogera ku azaalibwa omukazi tebagamba nti buli azaalibwa omusajja abeera mulamu akaseera kati bagenda azaalibwa omukazi.
It doesn't even say those born of men. It says that one born of women stays for a short time.
Abakyala bebokka ababeera ne Yesu mu kubonaabona kwe ate ne mu kuzuukira be baaliweera.
It is women who stayed with Jesus during his suffering and during his resurrection.
Margaret Rabashaija, the workers' representative in Parliament, graced the occasion and urged women to work hard and to embrace projects aimed at improving their lives.
Esente zaffe ez'ekikazi zibeera ntono naye wayinza okubaawo kye tusobola okukola obaako n'ogamba nti at least waawe bwe biba biganye nja kugira ki tunaalwananga naako mu ngeri yaffe ne tulaba nga tukabeezaawo ne ssaako ziyamba naye kizibu kyassaako nti oluusi ate abamu bannaffe tebabadde ba mazima.
Also to grace the occasion was the Bishop of Kampala Diocese, Right Reverend Hannington Mutebi.
For us to be able to bear with one another in love, the foundation is Jesus Christ himself. Bw'oba otegedde Kristo yakusobozesa okukola ebyo by'otasobola kukola. Naye bw'abulawo mu kibalo ky'obulamu bwo ebirala byonna birema.
The Women Ecumenical Prayer Day is an annual event organized by women from the Anglican, Catholic and Orthodox denominations. Deborah Namamonde, Susan Nabugode, UBC News.
Minister of State for Transport Biamuka Mafred has called upon those that are completing the education programs to develop a culture of savings to be able to give back to parents and support family developments. Biamuka sounded the call while presiding over the 8th graduation ceremony of Kabal School of Comprehensive Nursing, Makanga Hill in Central Ward, Kabale Municipality, that is Kabale District.
At the function, State Minister for Transport and old boy of the school, Biamuka Mafred, launched the master plan for Kabal School of Comprehensive Nursing that will spearhead the infrastructure development of the institution. Kabal School of Comprehensive Nursing awarded certificates and diplomas in nursing and midwifery to over 500 graduates. Mr. Biamukama donated 20 million Ugandan shillings towards the construction of the required school infrastructure.
We shall give our parents the good things they want.
The principal Kabal School of Comprehensive Nursing, Ms. Nambiro Josephine Chigozi, called upon the graduates to love with their hearts and serve with their hands, adding that they must carry their core values as guided throughout the training.
I therefore encourage you to carry forth the core values which have guided you through the training.
Chigozi revealed that the school has limited infrastructure, including sports grounds, where students should be doing exercises, accommodation for both learners and staff, plus a resource center.
Students' allocation fee, especially for the government health training institutions, is a great hindrance to practical skills acquisition.
The academic registrar of the institution, Mr. Muhanji Gordon, revealed that the school drew a 25 strategic master plan with a vision for proper planning on the limited piece of land where the school has to manage better with increasing population.
To accommodate all these people, we plan expand this the little land we have vertically so that we can accommodate for every activity that will be in place. Plan, of course, it goes for 25 years. 25 years plan. Looking forward, maybe within 25 years, we hope to have achieved something great.
Blue, green.
UBC Weekly News Roundup. The Ndiga clan has officially introduced a new clan head as heir to the late Daniel Bosa, who was shot dead last week. The Katikiro of Ndiga clan introduced Eria Luasi Buzambo, the new Luomwa head, to Buganda Katikiro, Charles Peter Maiga, who will introduce him to the Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald Muwenda Mutebi. Maiga advised the new Luomwa to follow in the footsteps of his predecessor in uniting the Ndiga grandchildren.
The Ndiga clan has introduced Elia Ruazi as the new clan head, replacing the late Daniel Bosa, who was shot dead last week. The Ndiga Katikiro introduced him to Buganda's Katikiro, Charles Peter Mariga, at an event held in Bulange, Mengo.
Sabonzikirize kwanjulire luomwa gwetufunye nga ab'ekika ky'Endiga. Luomwa amanyage mu bujjuvu Yeria Luasi Buzabo.
The Minister for Culture in Uganda, Dr. Anthony Wamala, says, according to the reports presented to him from the clan meetings of the Ndiga clan, all norms were followed to appoint a new clan head.
Olunaku lwajjo nasinkanye bazzukulu baalo omu abawerako ne bongera okukakasa nti enkola eyakoleddwa y'entuufu mu nnono era nga basemba oyo bannaabwe gwe bayawudde mu bonna tiyagenda okudda mu bigere bya Roma.
The Ndiga Katichiro says now that the clan has got a new clan head, the late Daniel Bossa will be laid to rest on Sunday in Mpigi, Mawokota, at Ndiga's clan ancestral ground.
Omugenzi Daniel Bossa gwe tugenda okutereka ku lunaku lwe Sunday embale Mpigi, Mawokota.
The new Ndiga clan head pledged to serve his clan and the Kabaka of Uganda with one heart.
Niyama okuweereza Obuganda, okuweereza ekika ky'Endiga, obutatiitiira n'okwongerayo mukadde waffe eyabuze byalesala atulambirikidde okukola.
The Katichiro of Uganda, Peter Mayiga, advised Mr. Buzabo to follow the legacy of the late Daniel Bossa.
Tabasebo ogatte ekika omulimu gw'oliko munene nnyo kubanga Buganda etudde ku masiga 3 kale ebika bikulu ekyenkaniddeawo nga bwe mulaba nti entamu teyinza kutuula ku masiga 2 tulina okunyweza ebika tulina okulwanirira Namulondo abaami tulina okuweereza n'obwesigwa olwo amasiga ganywere entamu ekkalireko bulungi entamu ye Buganda.
The late Luomwa Daniel Bossa was killed on Sunday last week, and according to the funeral program, he will be laid to rest on 3rd March in Mawokota County, Mpigi District. Andrew Sebira compiled this report for UBC News.
Well, may his soul continue to rest in eternal peace. In other activities that you could have missed out, we're seeing various SACCO leaders in Nasane and Kasokoso are being warned against soliciting for money from beneficiaries of the President's Ghetto Empowerment and Development Program. The warning was issued by the Presidential Advisor on Ghetto Affairs, Major Emmanuel Kutesa, while meeting with residents of those localities, as Ivan Jiko reports.
Process of confirming the beneficiaries of the President's promised ghetto funds to empower people living in ghetto places from Kampala and its surrounding areas is ongoing. It's against that backdrop that the Presidential Advisor on Ghetto Affairs, Major Emmanuel Kutesa, in collaboration with the Office of the Head Crime Intelligence, Brigadier General Christopher Damulira, visited and met with the people in Nansana and Kasokoso ghettos, who are assuring people registered in SACCOs that they will benefit from the funds promised by President Yoweri Museveni for their development.
Now where we have reached on the stage, we are cross-checking the lists or registers of SACCO members, which we are verifying every division. After verifying them, then we shall take the SACCO leaders and the SACCO members to Kololo. His Excellency will give them the money to start and to go and start the business.
Yakutesa urged the ghetto dwellers to analyze their peers registered in savings and cooperative societies to avoid being conned by unscrupulous characters, who are also urged to stay clear of criminal activities.
Ghetto supporting the security, it is working, it's real. Now, by the time we started to sensitize ghettos, every day, 10 to 15 ghetto youth were dying. Exactly. Which is not happening now. It has changed. A ghetto youth, if it is maybe he dies of natural death or accident, but it is not the way it used to be.
Those expected to benefit from the funds and their leaders can't wait to see the day the funds will be released to their circles.
Olwalero Kasokoso nga tuze okakasa bammemba aba ghetto structure abo abagenda ofuna ku ssente za president.
Nange nsiima mukama waffe president.
Gwe bakulira.
Olwa kasente ako ke yatuweereza. Nge we nadde eno wansi n'esomesa abakyala bange ennaku zino balekedde okwetunda, balekedde okuba abasajja ssente. Naye tulinze enkulaakulana. Kuba kati asobola okugenda okuba nga yeetunda olwa emergency. Kuba batayagala kwetunda olw'okuba obusente tebunnajja ayigibwa obusente butini okuba nga afiidinga famire ye.
baganda baffe ab'emikwano mwenna abatulaba eyo basobodde tuuka wano abali mu zigeto ez'enjawulo tubagamba nti waliwo akakisa akazze muba nga muli registered nga mulina groups zammwe ez'enjawulo ne sako waliwo akasente akazze tukakozesa wadde nga katono ke batuwadde tugasobola kwatsaganya mpola mpola.
However, delivering Brigadier General Damrira's message to the SACCO leaders, Major Kutesa warned them not to dare ask for commission from the beneficiary.
Ente z'oleese zibiza kuyamba mwana wa Ghetto oba za kuyamba kibiina kyabwe oba za kuyamba SACCO yaabwe.
Wejere. Mwaiva Njuko for UBC.
Moving on, a youth in Chitezi have initiated the use of plastic bottles to make construction materials like pavers. A Newtonia Green Nature initiative headed by Kwikiriza James aims at creating employment for the youth but also keeping the environment clean.
Plastic waste is one of the challenges facing especially urban areas because of poor disposal. Because plastics are undegradable, they are a threat to the environment. Under the organization Newtonia Green Nature Initiative, headed by Kwikiriza James, the youth in Chitezi collect the plastics from the community and utilize them to make construction materials such as pavers.
We at Newtonia Green Initiative, we conserve environment, but we started with a project of recycling wastes, and we recycle plastics. So in recycling plastics, we make pavers. As you can see, we make pavers out of plastics. We do not recycle plastics only, but we also recycle kavera, polyethylene bags. So we boil them, or we put them in an oven or a boiler. We set fire, they melt, and the standard melting point is about 115 degrees to 250 degrees. So how do we determine that the oven is it's hot, or it has reached at the boiling point? We try by throwing there a bottle. So when it starts melting, that's when we know that it has started. So we feed in our stuff, and then we continue the process.
Their aim is to create employment for the youth, but also keep the environment clean.
We had a problem of these plastic bottles in the environment, but then we thank them for the big job they have started. They have collected them. Now we no longer have that problem in the community.
Religious leaders in the area are also supporting the youth to be innovative and create jobs for themselves. However, they are struggling to acquire modern equipment that is friendly to the environment.
Looking forward to get better machines, but we as youth, we are unable currently. So that's why we extend our request to either the government and the ministries to support us with the machines. We need better machines. There are machines such as a shredder. A shredder, it is the same as bottle crusher. It crushes those bottles and cover into small particles or flakes. So after shredding, there is a machine called extruder. An extruder, we can call it a boiler. So it is used in that process. It boils, melts, and mixes together with sand. So that extruder produces what we call its mixture. It's like a paste. So when it comes out, it's what we feed in a machine called a molder. So an animal molder, it is the one that will provide us with a shape of a paver.
Uganda is one of the countries in the world with a faster growing population. Hence, young people are encouraged to be innovative and creative.
With the aim of improving the profession of lawyers, law students from various institutions have been trained on various topics by experienced lawyers in order to improve their profession. The training was organized by Counsel Tony Tumukunde to train law students on how to behave before and after joining the field. More than 100 students from law schools were trained by experienced lawyers at the function that took place in Kampala.
Don't join law when you're a joker.
You like sports, politics, math, sports.
Be a person of your word. When you tell someone these issues are not contentious, don't change your mind for anything. Why? When you're professional, when you have standards, when you have values, you attract opportunities.
First class, when they ask most of you, why are you studying to become a lawyer? You're very passionate. Someone tells you a person came and grabbed my daddy's land. You can make it in life if you decide to be what you want.
Yeah, if you don't go through mentorship, you don't keep integrity. We have brought here people to speak to lawyers about the essence of integrity in the legal profession, accountability and transparency. So if you do not go through such sessions, you're not going to be mentored, you're not going to have a person to look up to. But if you have a person to look up to, that means you are not going to err in your profession, you're not going to misbehave, you're not going to mistreat clients because you're being guided.
And we are still learning a lot because as young lawyers or learning lawyers, we don't get a chance to usually get to know what is going in the field, and we don't usually even get a chance to get people to mentor us, to tell us what we should do in order to make it up there. So we needed such programs, and indeed we applaud Council Tone Tumukunde for coming up with such a session that has helped us.
Different motivations.
Every 3rd of March, Uganda joins the rest of the world to commemorate Wildlife Day with a concern to protect endangered species. The lion, also referred to as king of the jungle, is facing extinction. Statistics from the Wildlife Conservation Society and Uganda Wildlife Authority census on lions indicates a decline from about 460 lions in 2022 to about 320 to date. And as we hear in the following feature story, there is conflict between humans and wildlife, and climate change variations have also had a devastating effect on the unnatural habitat, the jungle.
Lions often roar to mark their territory. Lions are referred to as the king of the jungle because the male lion portrays a supreme attitude. It displays attributes of a powerful ruler, although its leadership is only of their territory. The king of the jungle's reign is at stake following increasing human population in Uganda that's encroaching on the protected lands for the primate's survival, a situation that's exacerbated by variations in climate change.
The increasing human interaction. When I talk of human interaction, in the recent years you've heard of poisoning of lions, you've heard of killing of lions, poaching.
The population is skyrocketing every day. Land is not expanding, and these animals are there. Livelihoods are not changing. So,
lions or cats generally are very, very, very seclusive animals. You don't easily come across them. They are very exclusive. They have a very, very difficult life because they eat meat, they don't eat grass. And to eat meat, they must hunt. And it is not easy to hunt, it's difficult. And in hunting, they don't need to be disturbed. And even when they go to breed, to produce the young ones, it's not easy for them to breed. They produce kids who don't have eyes. And then later they develop eyes.
There is a proposal for Uganda Wildlife Education Center to breed lions in Queen Elizabeth, Chidepo and Makshon Falls National Parks. The center plans to allocate 10 billion Uganda shillings in the 2024-2025 budget to start the breeding project.
Part of our functions are conservation education awareness, but also we have the component of breeding. At UWEC we have 15 lions, and these have been bred here. But then we also have researchers on board, like Uganda Wildlife Research Training Institute and other NGOs on board. So when we come together, then we shall bring our heads together and see who does what, when. Those who have carried out research, we have to benchmark on those who have carried out research, because elsewhere, people have done it.
It is part of the solution to boost the country's tourism sector, although other stakeholders have expressed mixed reactions.
It might become a white elephant project, because that is where my worry is. We've got to understand, we've got to do a feasibility study and make sure that what we are going to spend money on is going to work. Because if it doesn't work, we'll have wasted our resources, we'll have, wasted the lions' time in terms of helping them to breed. And so we really need to do a feasibility and make sure that we think through. The other aspect is the behavior of the animals. An animal that is hand-bred behaves a bit differently than an animal that is wild-bred.
According to World Animal Protection, the question of breeding lions remains in balance, with a call on stakeholders to address the core issues threatening their majestic beings.
So, as World Animal Protection, we call upon Uganda Wildlife Education Center and, of course, the other supportive agencies, UWA, and the collaborating agencies, UWA, and the overall, the Ministry of Wildlife, Tourism and Antiquities, to rethink this proposal and really consider implementing conservation efforts that are directing to addressing the underlying causes of why the lions are declining in the first instance, before thinking of, I would say, directing resources perhaps into an initiative that might not be sustainable in the long term.
Setting up coexistence mechanisms with the populations living along the protected zones of the national game parks and reserves will address some of the underlying factors threatening the wild animals.
At the moment, there are efforts which are being spearheaded by some conservationists. They have formed an umbrella organization called Umoja. And this Umoja is saying, let the landowners also be given power to manage wildlife on their private land, and so they can benefit from this wildlife. This is an area that really needs particular attention.
Partly is lack of enforcement of the benefit sharing agreements that's making it a bit on both sides. The communities are not being truthful sometimes in what they do, and the governance of these places are also not remitting sometimes what they say is due to the communities. So there's a bit of lack of transparency on both sides.
Uganda targets $5.2 billion from tourism annually, with the sector being Uganda's leading foreign exchange earner. Makerere University Economic Policy Research Center analyst Dr. Madina Mwagale Guloba calls for such interventions that will see Uganda attain the much-awaited Development Vision 2040.
So now, when we deliberately build the tourism sector, then deliberately you're going to the GDP, because GDP is essentially consumption. The biggest part of GDP is consumption. So when the consumption, everyone is eating every day, then GDP is going up. And if the sector driving it is tourism, then essentially tourism is going to be driving the GDP of this country.
The United Nations World Wildlife Day is celebrated annually on 3rd March to take stock of wild animals and plants. The Wildlife Day comes at a time when stakeholders are worried over the declining numbers of lions. Sudat Kaye and Douglas Setumba, UBC News.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the
Osmosis.
the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
As Uganda and as UBTS, we are hosting a high-level scientific blood transplant congress from the 4th to the 7th of March at Peak Resort, Munyonyo. I call upon everybody to come and attend this important congress where we shall share knowledge, expertise, and new innovations in the field of blood.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Ugandans and Africans.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
We people who live across the Nile, we are so related from our myth or from just the Nile.
We are the same people, and genetically we are even the same people.
We are similar people.
We are one.
Pamoja, we are one.
Use that word, pamoja.
Premiering every week from 3rd February to June 2024 at the National Theatre and Indere Center. Daily screenings are from 4th February to June 2024 at Ham Cinemax and the National Theatre. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko Pamoja?
Welcome back. Thank you so much for watching and staying with us now. 2 business updates. We're seeing Michael Kidongo, Chief Principal Director of Legacy Uganda Development Partner Africa Limited, calling upon the government to support the umbrella organization of Farmers Fraternity in the names of Legacy Uganda Development Partner Africa Limited, aiming at addressing challenges faced by farmers. He raised this concern on Saturday in an interview with UBC TV. We have a detailed story.
Whenever Mike says their group is coming up with measures of empowering farmers in communities by lobbying funds from all parts of the world.
We have already organized our farmers in terms of groups, cooperative societies, CBOs, small companies, because when we come together, we shall look forward to see that we get prospective marketing. We need at least a local man to realize his or her empowerment.
They also say that through the 2 educational systems called East African Vocation and Management Institute Uganda, in partnership with Nyerere Museveni for NASA International College, all farming families are going to be empowered.
We are looking forward to see that we meet His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Mzee General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and we discuss salient issues of the 2 items, because we need to indicate that why Mzee Museveni went to the bush, the benefits and the causes, we are now implementers. So
we are reminding our state that it has come together and embrace this program and a project for the benefit of our communities in Eastern, in Northern and Central Uganda.
The country director, We Care for Humanity Uganda chapter, Bachima Joram, says they are to handle a lot of activities in different sectors like education and agriculture, among others.
That in agriculture, we are sticking much on agriculture because it is a backbone of our country. So therefore, we have formed, Queen has connected us to different investors, partners who can come in and invest in that. And not only that, but even in the government itself, she's ready. And she has a plan, of course, to meet His Excellency, the President, so that we see way forward for the bigger investment in the country.
Under this arrangement of Legacy Uganda Development Partners Africa Limited, we have sourced out our strategic partnership with We Care for Humanity, where we have achieved to have Her Majesty, the Queen from Philippines, of which is with supportive measures to see that a farmer comes off the vicious circle.
Robert Katamba, Kenneth Tanaba, UBC News.
Ebisera by'okuzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kuka
kaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu, kano kalipagano kabidduka. Simanya kuzunga na banka slips. Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *165*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu eya Uganda.
How to use the EIPP. Welcome to the Electronic Investors and Protection Portal, your guide to seamless investment processes in Uganda. Step 1. Navigate the portal. Start by searching Protection statehouseinvest.go.ug. On Google, use the menu bar for various tasks. Step 2. Submitting a complaint. To lodge a complaint, click Report. Fill out the form, submit and note your reference number. Step 3. Making an inquiry. For inquiries, select Inquiry. Complete the form, submit and record your reference number. Step 4. Whistleblowing. To report anonymously, choose Whistleblow, fill the form and submit. Step 5. Accessing FAQs. Find the answers to the common questions under the FAQs link. Step 6. Seeking information. For investment cycle guidance, hover over Resources, click Resources Center and explore. Step 7. Exploring services. Hover over Services for stakeholder offerings like business registration. Step 8. Tracking progress. To track submissions, click Report, select Track Inquiry or Complaint. Enter your reference number and check your email for updates. Need more help? Call +256 326 100 630 or email info@statehouseinvest.go.ug.
Welcome back once again. Now a look at sports, where the visiting Federation of International Gymnastics President Morinari Watanabe has lauded Uganda for its intense plan to improve the sport by spreading it across the country, especially to the youth.
Uganda has completed the successful hosting of the Federation of International Gymnastics Executive Board meeting. It climaxed with an exhibition at the MTN Arena Lugogo. The occasion was graced by the Federation of International Gymnastics President Morinari Watanabe, who pledged support towards Uganda. During their stay in Uganda, the delegation of global gymnastics leaders deliberated with high-ranking sports administrators and visited several centers that Uganda intends to utilize as it grows the sport.
We've taken them to nearby schools and nearby clubs that are doing gymnastics. And then finally we climaxed with this festival. But believe me, they're not the same. They've been able to see the passion that Uganda has for gymnastics. They've been able to see the talent and above all the courage among the children. So moving forward, I have very good feedback for them, very good words of encouragement, and then I know that I have all their support. So the future of Uganda is right in regards to the gymnastics sports.
In the interim, the association is also determined to meet the new sports law requirement of 50% coverage of the country, which they intend to achieve through collaborations.
They have pledged a lot of support, not only equipment-wise, but also pledged support in terms of the technical help, exchange programs that can help us grow even better and faster.
The delegates visited clubs like Mustafa Gymnastics Academy, Katakan Emil Sada, and also went to schools like Green Hill Academy.
so much for watching and choosing the national broadcaster. My name is Sandra Kahunde, wishing you a beautiful Sunday afternoon and greetings from the team behind the scene. God bless you.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.